Hi there, good afternoon everybody. Welcome to the third of our Talking Exports webinar series on fashion, digital marketing for fashion businesses in the Caribbean. It's great to have you all with us once again today. As usual, I'm going to go through the little piece about Caribbean export before we get into the nitty-gritty of the presentation. So Caribbean Export, for those of you who are not familiar with us, we are a regional trade and development organisation and investment promotions agency. We work with the 15 countries of CARIFORUM, and we are currently implementing the 11th EDF European Development EDF Regional Private Sector Development Programme. As it says, our mission is to enhance the competitiveness and value of Caribbean brands through the delivery of transformative and targeted interventions in export development and investment promotions. So within the area of the creative industries and specifically in fashion, we actually launched the Caribbean Fashion Showroom a year, maybe 2 years ago now, actually, coming up towards that, which is our online space where we support Caribbean fashion designers and support with promoting who those designers are in the region and so on. So please do check out that page. We also do a number of other interventions from accelerator programs and really helping to support the capacity building of regional designers. And of course, all of our other programs that we have on offer are open to Caribbean designers. For example, our grant scheme, we do actually also have a grant program that's going to be launching very soon. So please do, if you haven't already subscribed to Caribbean Exports mailing list, do so, because there will be opportunities for designers to be able to apply for a grant to support your businesses moving forward. So today, as you know, we're here to talk about selling on social, selling fashion online. And we have got Timia Carey once again from Stush Marketing, and she's going to be joined today by Ainal from Fashion Arch TT. So the two of them will be talking to us about how to go about selling fashion online and how to really maximize those online platforms, and also think of other ways in order to reach your customers online. So with that, I'm gonna hand over to Timia. So bear with me as I just give her the presenter rights so that she can take over the presentation and get us started. Here we go. And you're on mute. You're still muted.
Hi, everybody. We're here from Jamaica. Today we're going to go through the online selling, and we're also going to go into the back end of my Instagram and Facebook pages so you guys can know what to look for when you're looking to set your ads and get that traffic going in. Also looking at hashtag campaigns and how to get the tourists before they come. So when they step off the cruise ship stuff, they'll be looking for how to get not only local traffic, but traffic from other parts of the world to your site. Can you see my screen okay, Joellen? Joellen?
Oh, yes, we can. I muted myself.
Okay, so let me just intro a bit. I'm from Stush Marketing. We're a digital marketing agency out of Jamaica. I'm also a fashion designer, and we believe in a very 360 approach to our brand as well as to any brand that we manage. These are some of our clients. Engaging content doesn't have to be expensive content. It can be content that's done with your phone, but it's all about planning and making a proper timeline. We do many things, as you see here. our biggest thing is strategy. We're very good at strategy and search engine optimization. We believe in a 360 marketing solution. So we believe in content creation, telling good stories. You guys are from the islands and you have a great story to tell. So it's always how you're going to incorporate that in your brand, how you're going to make your brand authentic. Of course, digital advertising is great where you spend money to get traffic to your site. You might not be able to get 1,000 people through your store on a daily basis, but with digital ads, you can get them to see your product and come through your digital store. Always you get data at the end of it. We're going to go through the data part so you can better understand what you're looking for each time to make your ad better each time. So this is my store, the little pink building on the right. So I have a store in Kingston, Jamaica. I currently export to the USA, Canada, Europe, and the Caribbean. I specialize in sizes 8 to 3XL and resort wear. My business partner is Fernalise, who's a professional self-taught photographer. She helps with my branding and she also helps with concept and design for me, for my overall look and feel. Sorry. So today we're going to go to my website and we're going to look on some key selling factors. Okay, so this is my little store. When you go to my website, I have a very easy website. It's by Shopify. And when you go to my website, Shopify is so easy. You guys can basically do everything on your own, change from the back to the front, and it's very simple to use. During COVID, we did a lot of masks and face shields, and we tried to keep it that way. This is you see here where it just told you where someone had purchased from. That's a plugin app that you guys can get to there. Someone in Kingston 8, Jamaica purchased. So this kind of validates you in some ways when people are on their sites and they see where multiple people are buying from you on an ongoing basis. So it's attached to the back end of your shopping cart. So every time somebody buys, that app on its own will remind you how great this store is and all the people that are buying from this store. Right? In the About Us, we have nothing too extraordinary, a very short thing on who I am, how I started, and what inspired my business. I have different drop-down boxes, very important. Don't put everything in one box, you guys. When you're doing your Facebook store or your Shopify or e-store, just remember that, just like how when you go into a store, you want things in regular places, please try and do that. So you don't mix everything, you try and put it in different categories, right? So in each category, you can then put tags and hashtags on the back. So if somebody goes to Google and they put in jumpsuit, it comes up. Put in plus size clothes, it comes up. So all of these things help to drive traffic to your website. Go back to the sorry. So now, if you're not exactly website ready, you can still sell from online. So we're gonna go look on the Instagram. So right here on your Instagram is where the live content is placed. The live feed, which is free. And what's great about the live content is that you can repost your customers, as I do some days, and you can also post what is trending on your feed. And that's a free thing. And it goes, and what's good about that live feed is you're not paying for it. And right now, because Instagram and Facebook are pushing a lot of video, it's cheaper and the viral content is much easier there than from your Facebook page or your Instagram page. Facebook, when you post on it, sends it out to 8% of the current number of users or likes or followers you have. So you want to think about these things to create two different types of content: the content for your live feed and then your content for your Facebook feed. So this is the live feed over here, and then this is the Facebook feed. Now, as well on here, I have pillars. So every time I have something new that I add, I try and put it in its own space, because then when people are looking for things, it's so much easier to find things when they're organized. You know, I'm very big on things being organized. From your live feed, you can put the content directly into here, which is great. So if I post a swimsuit today, I can put it in one of those pillars that's here. So when you press on the live, your live area, there's a little button in there that allows you to put it in the highlights. So the highlights now are the different things that you carry. So you want to also have a pillar for that. So I have accessories, body shapers, dresses, skirts, kimonos, shoes. And I try and keep these things in the highlights. I try and have happy customers on it, because the reality is your customers are your stars. Like on Amazon, where you buy something because it's 2 stars, 3 stars, your customer speaks a lot for you. So when you can have those customers that send you in content, it's so priceless, because as you go down this journey, you find that they help to create content for you, and they feel appreciated as well when you repost and you send a little message saying thank you so much for these items and for supporting you, of course. So on Instagram, I use Planoly, and I create my Instagram page, my post before time. I try and decide on making things kind of have a color coordination, so that when they come to my page, it's not just buy me, buy me, buy me, but it's almost like they're flipping through a magazine. So this will allow them to spend more time with me, and I want them to spend time on my page. It's very important. So this is why you want to invest and spend time. This is just our old board right here, our old board step we have. We got to leave, drop the thing on top. Don't make excuses. You guys live in the Caribbean, where you have beautiful things, outdoor lights, everything. You have no excuse not to. Here was, there are these woven mats that they have in Jamaica that are made. So that became our backdrop because COVID, so we couldn't go on location to shoot. So we had to shoot them where we can. This is an old chair that we have in the back. And you just have to really decide that you're going to put a little more time into presentation, because the reality is competition is stiff and other people are putting the time into presentation. So you want to just make sure that you're showing the best you, so that when they look on it and inbox you, they can know what to expect. Okay, I'm going to go into the insights. The insights. I've never really used it from the desktop, so it's very different. Profile. I don't think they allow me to go through the insights on here. All right, so we're going to look through on the Instagram insights on Facebook. I hope all of you have taken the time to make sure that your Instagram and your Facebook are connected. So when you post on Instagram, it goes over to Facebook. And it also allows you to see a lot better analytics than you would normally see on Instagram. Because sometimes, hold on. All right. Internet has been very great, but for coming. Okay, so this is my Facebook page. I put up a new clothing album last night. And whenever I put up a new clothing album, I always pin it to the top. So if you go over to Facebook, you see here, this is a pinned post. I always pin it to the top because this is the subject of this month for me. So I can post daily and it goes from Instagram over, but my overall album would stay here at the top. So in my caption, I try to put all the contact information or WhatsApp number, how we deliver, the sizes we carry, and we encourage them to reach out to us. On every photograph, I put all of that information so that the person can then WhatsApp me and speak to me and better figure out how they're going to buy it. Are they buying from the website? Do they need to do a bank transfer? How best to get our items. So every single photo has over here the same caption, so they can't, if the person screenshots it or saves the photo, corrupts the page, they'll always have our contact information. I don't heavily watermark my photos for a reason. I think it's very impersonal. Sometimes you'll see my logo at the bottom, but I try not to because then it distorts the photo. So that's that. So we're going to go here now to our ad center. So here in our ad center, it tells you that I have spent, how much have I spent? 500 US over the last 60 days. So let's narrow it down to the last 30 days so it's easier to read. So we put up this ad. So I'm trying to have swimsuit sales as we're going into that point of the month. So I put up a swimsuit I only sell within my store because I don't have a return policy on swimsuits. So instead of having it for the whole island, I only advertise to Kingston. So when I go into here, you can see my reach of my ad. 29,000 people saw my ad. It's getting expensive. It's costing me 0.04 cents, which means I probably need to change the ad image or something, but people aren't clicking on it as much because it used to be 0.1 cents, you know. Here now you see how many people clicked on the link, how many people went to looked on the photos, how many commented on it, how many shared it. So my ad was only set to women. So you see here that 0 men saw my ad. I only set to women. I noticed that the 25 to 34 is my highest target and the 65 is really low. So maybe what I should do is close my ad and take it down to probably 55 so that the ad budget doesn't waste showing over 65 and 65 because they don't seem to be clicking on my ad. Here now it says where it's placed. So a lot of it is on the mobile feed, and then this is on Instagram. When you set ads on Facebook, you get the choice of sharing, also running it on both platforms, which is nice to kind of do things from Facebook instead of Instagram because it's just, this is the parent. So because Facebook is a parent of Instagram, they just have better options. So now I'm going to go and look who was looking at my thing. So I did it within a 10-mile radius of my store, less than 10 miles, probably 6 miles. And it shows it here that 100% of the traffic is from that area. Usually when I put the whole country in, I'm able to see who in Montego Bay, who in Falmouth, who in Ocho Rios looked at my stuff. So that's very good too if you guys do like pop-ups and stuff to find out where your traffic is really coming from. Now, we're going to look at a different ad. So this is now a video ad. So now a video ad is usually much cheaper than a static ad, as you can see here, 1 cent, and it was both of them were set at the same time. And because they're very video centric on Facebook and Instagram, they like this type of content. So maybe for your pocket, it might cost a little more to make the video, but believe me, and to send it out will be much cheaper. So this video has had 7,294 through plays, which means when it goes in their feed, probably 3 to 4 seconds, people have looked on it or watched the whole thing. You have to be careful with Facebook. Sometimes though, because this number can be inaccurate. So this is how many video views we have, comments, shares. Again, the placements. Okay, so now the video goes on so many different places. So it goes on the Instagram feed, it goes in the mobile app feed. So you can see here by the amount of places they're willing to put my ad that they're really trying to push us towards video over pushing us towards to a static image or a photograph. Now, we have to be reasonable. When you have a Shopify account and you're running your ads to Shopify, you're coming off of the Facebook platform. So of course, those will cost more. If you use a Facebook store, it would be a lot easier. Hold on. We're going to go now over to to settings, and then we're going to go to, so from here, go to insights. We're going to insights now. So every week I spend a certain amount of time reading my insights to see who is on my page and who really my customer is, because you can't just keep setting ads into the atmosphere and not know who is coming. So let's look on our insights so we can understand who my customer is. So here it says that we've had 50 actions on the page views, page previews, post reach. Now you see this story number. Remember I told you that the stories are free. Look how the story number is high for something that's free. So you need to load an Instagram stories. You need to load the live feed as well as the Facebook live feed. Let me see now. So that's the insights. Over here on the left, you can see an overview after you've opened Insights. So now you get to see who your followers are. So when you look at this page now, you get to see who your total page followers are. So right now I'm at 74,000. And you get to create benchmarks. Maybe it's that when I reach 80,000 or 75,000, I can now celebrate that, because you know your customers like to celebrate stuff. Here it shows you how many people unfollowed you, how many people followed you during the period. Sometimes it tells you on the day, so maybe you can go look on the content you post on the day if it's a lot of people and see what it was and what the problem was maybe, or was it content that was not appropriate. So that's also very good to look at too, because you're not perfect. So you always want to be aware of other people's space. Now, this is my organic reach, very low, 2,000 people, almost 3,000. Now, when you look on this 3,000 compared to my paid reach, you know that Facebook is a very good business, because yes, they're sending it out to that 8% of my total number. And then if more people click on it, they keep showing it, but they're really encouraging you to use the ad budget. Nothing is free. So I feel like they got us all over here, and now we have to pay for our little rights and to get our stuff out. So you can see my organic reach at the bottom in light orange, and then my paid reach here. The stories, no, the stories are free, so that's good for now. They show you how many people looked at the stories. Now, when I can get 783 women to look at something in one day, that for me is an amazing result. I can have them come to the store on that day, but they can look at my products. So it's always good to make sure that whatever content you're making is effective, right? Because this is all organic content. I don't pay for my live feed. I just load it with photographs, videos, little snaps and stuff. So I'm trying to find, so this is a total reach now for the page. So I noticed that there's some high and lows. So I need to go look now on the 11th. Did I post anything? How come only 11,000 people were at my page on that day? You know, so you want to look into this and be analytical. Here we had 8,000 people, but then up here we had 22. So we need to go and look and see what was the issue or what was going on that day, why some days are high, some days are low. Maybe the low days could fall on a Sunday or a Monday, but you want to find out which are your high days, which are your low days. So now you can start posting and spending some time catering to your customer. I want to, Facebook has taken off this thing. So Facebook changes on an ongoing basis. So they used to have a breakdown page, which they've taken out. So we can also go into, hold on, settings. Okay, so your page settings. So some of you do your page on your own. Some of you outsource. You want to know, go through your settings and all these different things. Are other people allowed to publish on your page? Are they allowed to send you messages? You want to go in here and just make sure most of this is open. because the reality is you don't want where people are trying to get through to you and they can't. You also about your page rules. So now you have to be very careful with your page rules, who you're giving permission on your page. So if somebody is given a very high page rule, which is like an admin status, they can delete your page. So the other people who work on your page, you should possibly put them as editors or moderators, so they can't delete your page in case there's some falling out or their fingers touch something that is not supposed to. Now, from Facebook, you can always go over to Instagram and connect to their account. So you need to go on your Facebook page, go down to Instagram and connect your Instagram account here, so that whatever is put out in the news feed on Instagram will automatically, they'll ask you if you want to share it to Facebook, which is really great because then it allows you now to not make content twice or not have to post twice unnecessarily. You can always do this. Facebook also has a free store that you can go and look at. The Facebook store, though, the payment options for the Caribbean are really small. So you just want to make sure that when you go over there. So as we have this data conversation monthly, you want to go over, look through all what I just showed you and see what were your growth, what was your engagement like, what were your analytics, so that when you're setting your ads to send people to your page, you'll have a better thing each time to know how you want to go forward. Are we do men buy from you? If they don't, then why are we showing the men the ad? Maybe we only show the men the ad when it's you only show men the ad when it's Mother's Day, Father's Day. Well, not necessarily Father's Day, more Mother's Day. So they'll come and buy your stuff like from my store. But on an ongoing basis, I don't waste money on mail ads because they don't walk through my door really. So why would I show them? Why would I spend money there? So you want to be smart about it. And you want to know how to turn your customers into your brand ambassadors and leverage Instagram as a product showroom. The bang for the buck is very important. I use about $5 to $10 US a day on my store. And that $5 or $10 is now split between Instagram and Facebook. You need to decide on a standard budget that you're going to use during regular months. On Christmas and the bigger months, probably the carnival months for most of us, you'd have to spend more because everybody's advertising their parties and other stuff. So it's kind of difficult in the space. When you're looking at content plans and stuff, the same content, I try and shoot my clothing in a certain manner because I don't want to shoot twice. So yes, you want it creative and beautiful, but the person has to be able to see the clothing. It doesn't have to be on a white background, but just be careful of that. Make sure that they're not miscommunicating what the item is. Make sure if the hands are in a certain spot, you can see that there's no waistband or where the dress starts and stops, not seated, you know. So these things really help. They have standard pixel resolution that you can go look up of what you should be taking it in and what resolution your photographs are to be. Your photographs are your biggest assets, so you really have to put a little time into making sure to just make sure they're high-res photographs. Each time you send a photograph across a platform, it drops resolution. So maybe you're talking to a customer on WhatsApp and you send them a photo that you downloaded from Facebook store or from your Facebook account, and then when you send it to them, it drops resolution. And then if you forward it from there, it drops again. So just be very mindful of having high res and good quality products. Your business details, I should be able to Google, just like last class we said, let's Google different people. But on your page, it must be very easy for you to be able to find out how to get in touch with you and how to pay. You know, the world is your oyster, and you guys need to understand that all around the world, the Caribbean is loved, and you guys have a rich experience and culture. So you can always try trial ads to different areas that you know probably would buy your products. And then you do it over a couple of days, and then of course you go through the insights and say, okay, well, is this a spot for me? Isn't this a spot for me? And you can get international customers. Now, more importantly, where are these cruise ships coming from? So now we want to say, okay, are they coming from Florida, where are they coming from? So when you're setting your ads, you can put in their interests. So you can put people interested in cruise lines, people interested in your country, and you put in Trinidad, wherever the person is, and all these different things to kind of define the audience, people looking for vacations, and define the audience and get things down so that you know can probably even correspond with these customers before they land. I was talking to the people at the cruise ship here in Jamaica, and they're telling me that as the people come off, they are hashtagging and looking for Jamaican content, Jamaican things. So you need to create that hashtag made in Trinidad, Trinidad made, product of Trinidad. Find things that would get your buyer to your doorstep. Stop thinking just about posting and creating content. Come up with a proper campaign to get them there. Digital ads are great, but again, you have to spend a little time. There are lots of little stuff on YouTube that will also help you know how to ad sets. Now they have that new thing, the boost in the front, which is a little boost button. I don't really use it much. I usually do it from the back, but the boost button is very simplistic, and it's very easy to just put $1 on it, put $2 on it. Don't go too expensive for when you're starting and learning. Then after, when you see who is clicking on it and you get a tighter following, and you have a defined client, then you can spend more money. But it doesn't make sense to spend these big amounts and then you can't. Okay, so when you see on Instagram internationally, you see this little box. You see this little handbag looking thing at the top. That little handbag thing shows you that you can go over to the website, the person's website, and purchase the product. No, the Caribbean hasn't gotten it yet, unfortunately, but this brings back the fact of all the information should be in the caption. Maybe it's that in the information section of the Instagram, you put the website. So on mine, I have where I'm located and I have my website here, so that people can, if they see anything here, because we're not allowed to have that little selling thing yet, they can just go here and go over to my website. So it's always very important that you can be found and people can reach you and ask important questions.
Just before you move on, I think obviously just to reiterate that point, because it's quite often that you see it when you go to somebody's page and you don't know how to reach out or to contact them. If you're going to be selling online, and if you're not able to, especially if you're not able to do the e-commerce, it's being able to actually, well, how do I reach this person and how do I make contact for them? So I think that's really important to stress, because as you say, quite often people forget, or they don't realize the importance of having that contact profile being really accessible to the consumer who wants to purchase it. And we do actually also have a question in the questions panel as well. We have a question for Roy Wessinghagen, who is asking, how do you differentiate between the different accounts in your Facebook and Instagram profiles? Now, I know from Caribbean Export we manage a couple of different pages. Just maybe when you go back to the Facebook page, I think you can normally select which account. If you've got more than one brand, for example, you could select which one you want to have a look in. I'm not sure if you'll be able to do it from the web Instagram page where you are right now.
So if you go to Joanne, let me just show him here. If you go to Instagram here,
right,
they're not allowing me on the.
Yeah, I think it looks different on the desktop than it does on the mobile.
But you're supposed to be able, once you have admin access, to be to just go in and switch account. So you just go and type in the account, the name of whatever the brand is that you're on that page, and it just goes to it automatically. So it should be very cookie cutter. Usually when you go to Google, you can put in these Facebook questions and it'll come up, and they have nice quick answers for you.
Okay. All right. Cool.
gonna watch this little video. So that little video was those are Forever 21 customers and brand ambassadors who have created this little story for them. It was all created in, give me back the name of that, Jody. Viva, hold on. Everything, there's so many free things you guys can get. Free video apps. So the one that we use a lot is this thing called Vivo. This is a sign. So when you guys go on your Google Play Store or your iPhones, this is a sign you're looking for. The video thing that they have is so easy. You upload and then you can insert your words on top, and they already have it built out into a beautiful touch screen thing to edit. So it's very nice and very easy. Now you want to encourage your customers to go on your Facebook page and give you some reviews. The reviews are great because then when other people look you up and testimonials and stuff, it helps. So I feel that even if you have 3 friends that buy from you, could you ask them, hey, get the link and send it to them from the Facebook page? Get your ratings up. You know, those things are free. Let's do them. Content plans. Now, a content plan is very easy, or you won't have that great laid out Instagram or Facebook page. So just like how you clean your store and you hang up the dresses or you hang up the products and put out the neck pieces, your Instagram and Facebook is just as important. So you want to come up with an e-commerce strategy. So maybe there are call to actions. Maybe when you look in the on the calendar, you notice that there's certain dates coming up. I always, if it's Mother's Day, I advertise 2 weeks before or 10 days before. I always try and advertise before big periods to see if I can get in some extra sales. What story are you going to tell? During COVID, my story was give mom the gift of safety. And I had these elaborate scarf masks that could be bought. How can you convey your message creatively? Instead of saying buy me or now in store, maybe you find other words. Now trending, just hit. Last in store, only one available. But find some positive call to actions that when you put it in your captions, people are interested, people want to come. You want to also know what benefit can your audience get from your business. So in my business, I try and have styling tips, and I try and do other things that encourage my same pool of people that are buying from me. So they don't just look at my products, but they understand how it's made, and they also understand how to style the same product different ways, 3 different ways, so that they know that when they buy something from me, it's multi-use, it's multi-purpose. Your target audience, digital is one way, but you could also, you want to back it up with some print. Print really makes you recognized, and print makes you seem very credible, because a lot of people can put up anything on digital, but when a newspaper has published it, it's a really, really big deal. And then you also want to remember the attention span for your audience. So, you know, don't prolong the ad. See if you can just get it done quickly and get your message out, even if it's a video ad in 30 seconds. But don't think that somebody has all day to watch your entire ad and then at the end of it you put having a sale or new in store. Try and get the message across in the first 15 to 20 seconds. On Pinterest, you can go to Pinterest. No, when you go to Pinterest, I'm a Pinterest junkie, by the way. It's everything to me. And you can go here and you can put in social. You can see all what I'm interested in. My gosh, the food and everything. Social media design. So now you can look at different designs and you can put in fashion. So this is like, you guys have no excuse really, everything is here. Now these are different brands. Of course your colors might be different, but you can see different layouts and how you can even buy templates for your layouts and how beautiful you can be, you know? So you don't have to do everything on your own. You can go to these places, get ideas, see what is trending, what's new. There's a beautiful app called Canva. Canva is free. That's another good thing. So you guys write down Pinterest. So it's social media design, or you can put in Instagram layouts. Did I spell that right? No, I didn't. Instagram layout ideas, right? And they have tons of ideas. This is a really nice one. This is a flat lay. The flat lay is great because then you can do this on just a plain sheet of white paper and you put different products from your store. And it's a really nice way to show different things that you have in the store that can correlate. Then you have different types of stories that you can tell. Very, very important. Here is nice, this color inspiration. So what they've done is basically repeated colors and made sure backgrounds were solid, and then you can see that their product becomes the foreground. But you can also see here they're not only pushing their products, they're also pushing different things like plants and other stuff. So it doesn't always have to be a sale post. So you want to think about that. So hold on. So you want to see how best you can really reach your customer, keep them interested, and facilitate the sale. Now, after you set up your Facebook store or your Shopify store and linked it to Facebook, you have to think about how to facilitate the sale. You want to make sure you're signed in the right way and that you have enabled the Facebook shop. Very important to enable the Facebook shop. You can set up the shop and not enable it, and then no one can see it. When you're posting on your page in the same caption where you put your number and everything, you can put the link to the Facebook shop that they can go over. A Facebook store is free. It's free until you have to now get a vendor to collect the money for you. So if you have to go with a bank or PayPal or something, that's when the costs start to hit you. So you want to choose how you're going to check out. Is it that when they check out, that an email is sent to you, or using Shopify? So you want to see what's best in your islands. And the lady presenting after me, she has all that information, and she's like super, super, super bright, and she knows everything about that. So she's going to really make your e-commerce dreams come true. So when you go over to, I would suggest that you guys go to Google and read up a bit on e-commerce and really understand, is it for you? Is the website for you at this time, or should you have the photographs and let the people respond to you on WhatsApp and you speak back and forth on WhatsApp? It doesn't make sense to have all these platforms if you know that you don't have the time to check them. So you need to make sure that your business details are everywhere, but decide what's good for you. Not everybody is good at the store, so that means you have to check the Shopify each morning. You have to check Instagram, Facebook, WhatsApp chat. If you know that you're not ready for a full e-store, then what you do is that you use the Instagram and Facebook as your showroom, and then from that, you carry people over. Now, again, about the photography part of it. You want your clothes to be the subject, but it needs to be styled properly, and it needs to make sure that it's true to image. So if you know that certain things don't exist on a daily basis for you, maybe it's that when you're doing your photo shoot, you need a stylist, or you need to plan your photo shoot long before and look up how you want people to pose for each photo so that you have that, so that on the shoot day it's an easier experience. You want to make sure that it's high quality. You want to make sure that your captions are to the point and punchy, not long drawn out captions nobody's really reading anymore. They just want to kind of go through and pick up the key terms, key information. Also your color palettes and your messaging. People must be able to look at a photograph after a while when you've figured out your brand voice and know that that's from your store. So as you develop these things, you plan a little more to get to that point. Hashtags. So I keep talking to you about these hashtags, and you know, we're going to go through now and see what our hashtags are like. So I like to use the Google platform because it's very reliable to me. So we're going to put hashtags made in the Caribbean. That's a really long hashtag, by the way, but some people actually use it. So when you put that in now, all of these places, all of these people who have used it come up, right? And you're able to find them and find what they like. So I see some fashion designers here, Loud by Afia. I believe she's in Trinidad, and she uses that hashtag, so you're able to find her. Trinidad designers. So you want to find things, okay, so when you put in Trinidad designers, quite a bit of people come up. Let's do it from the Instagram platform where I think it's a little aesthetically pleasing. Trinidad designer. So the hashtag is just the number sign and then the word behind it, but the word has to be something that is relative where we can find it. So when we put in Trinidad designer, this is what comes up, right? This takes us to, yes.
I think the point is though that, you know, consumers could be looking for these things, which is why it's useful for you to use these hashtags so that you can be discovered. Because if somebody is saying, look, I want to find some designers in Trinidad, and you're not in that lineup, then you're not going to be found. It's about being discovered, isn't it? Or for the designers to be discovered. So that's
absolutely
why those are really important to utilize the hashtags.
And you want to remember that when you have that pretty girl that lives, I always tell my friends that when you have that pretty girl living in the house, if nobody knows she's there, nobody can marry her. Just like your product could be as beautiful as possible, but if they can't find you. So this lady is great. Wow, lots of great hashtags here. So she has jewelry, she's a designer maker, Caribbean style, Caribbean maker, contemporary jewelry. So she has really found, and you don't want to go over 20, even 20 hashtags is a lot, but at least 10 good hashtags. And you see where she has all of these different ones that she has tagged. So I'm able to find her very quickly. As you scroll down, you get to see more designers. These are the Caribbean designers. Okay, this is a repost by Jay Jolly. And here you have, again, Island Life, Caribbean Travel, Fashion, you know, and even when it's Trinidad Carnival, which is the biggest carnival in the Caribbean, hashtag Trinidad Carnival 2020, 2021. So when those people who come to Trinidad or interested in Trinidad see those products, they get to see your designs too. So learn to piggyback and kind of get that muscle going, you know. Here's from St. Vincent and the Grenadines. This is Oliver's art. A beautiful handbag, beautifully photographed with the sea view. He's really hit it now. I feel like I'd buy it. And he has Caribbean designer, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, handmade purse, Vincentian made. All right, so like for Jamaica, we have made in Jamaica. He's used Vincentian made, which is very nice. So when we go back to what the hashtag is, now that we've done that little exercise, so the hashtag may not seem like much to you or a priority, but you have to use a hashtag. Hey, there's a free hashtag calculator. Oh my gosh, these things are so good. So you go over to Google and you put in free hashtags generator. No, you don't use all of what they give you because some of them kind of way out and you need to customize for the Caribbean. But you go in there and this can give you a good start. and you put in, let's put in the Caribbean. And now it's generating for us. Ta-da! Oh, this is dummy proof. Now, when it goes here, it has all the things having to do with the Caribbean, Caribbean Sea, Caribbean life. All you have to do is copy and paste this and drop it below your photograph. And you can also now even take out what's not important. So where most of us are fashion people, right? So, right, Joe?
Yeah. Yeah, everybody's fashion on today, yeah.
Fashion, okay, great. So we put in the word of fashion and let's see what's trending throughout the world. And yeah, so now the top fashion posts are fashion, fashion blogger, fashionista, fashionable. So now when you look on these hashtags, these are top trending hashtags. Again, you just cut and paste and you put it below your photograph. But you want to put things that are relevant also to your island and your positioning. So you can take out some of these things, but you want to also put in things that are, see here, it says similar keywords like fashion. You have fashionista, you have fashion baby, fashion forward, just like how they have outfit of the day, you know? So here we go, everybody, make sure you write on this thing, or you go back to Google and put in hashtag generator. Any questions so far, Joe?
No, that was it. That was it. We had some people comment that they also use Canva. I can attest to using Canva.
Canva is amazing. It's your friend.
When I need it, when I need a quick and dirty thingy.
Yes.
Okay, so when you
Canva is amazing. And the nice thing about, yes?
So this is Roy Wessingen again, as it relates to posted on Facebook or Instagram. Do you show your own name to Mia Carey, or do you only use the name of your business? So I guess this is where, you know how you have your personal profile and you're managing your page, which could be your business profile. When you're posting, you would.
So when you're posting from your business page, you want to post as the business and talk as the business. So if somebody has to manage it for you, it's much easier. So when you answer on a business page, you can answer as the business, which is what I normally do. It's just coincidental that I lost a lot of money because I was first Posh, which was a very bad idea. Shop Posh, which had so many that I put so much money into that name and I couldn't own it. So that's the only reason why I reverted to my name to go along with it. So you can use your name, but on your business pages, I don't really go about it that way. I try and make everyone have a brand voice, so they know when they're speaking, it's in standard English. It's reverting them to the website or asking if we can get more information or putting them over to WhatsApp. So you have to come up with a communication. All right, data collection and emails. You know that those social media sites, remember there was once High Five and there were other sites, they went down, they're no longer in service. And guess what happens? There goes all your investment there, but emails are golden. WhatsApp for business. WhatsApp for business is a great app to have. You can have a generic answer to people who WhatsApp you at 12, 1 and 2 in the morning. We get a lot of those, but we're running ads at that time. So what do we expect? So we have to be cordial. So we send them a message, an automated message that says, thank you for contacting us. We're open between this and this time. And as soon as somebody gets around to it, they're going to respond to you and thank you for your interest. So WhatsApp business is great. Also, if you save each person's name, every time you load the live feed on WhatsApp, amazing, again, it's free. All those people who are saved in your phone are able to see your post. So you need to install WhatsApp business so that you can live an organized and great life. Influencers are great. You see at the bottom, they have the skirt is by Grassfield, the top by Shop, whatever. This influencer is so great. She has made the thing for you, so you can just repost her. But then other people can now click on the signs down here and find her and find you. You know. So again, be great to your customers, because the reality is those customers are going to be content creators for you, especially those that post all the time. Maybe you want to give them extra stuff when they come to your store. Give them accessories as a gift, something, so that they keep coming back and they feel endeared to you.
Okay. So there's a couple of other questions or comments, let's say. So, and this relates to obviously your customers using content that has been created by some of your customers, your consumers. So if a customer sends you photos, it's correct to assume that you're able to show it on your page. I guess obviously if they've sent it by email, if they sent it to you via the actual platform, whether it's Facebook or Instagram, or tagged you, then yes, you're able to share it. Otherwise, they wouldn't necessarily send it to you, I would think, right?
Well, I feel that when they tag you, they're expressing that they want you to repost them. Now, if you want to cover that but twice, you send them an inbox. You're like, hi, what's up, Jody? Thank you for posting. Can we share that photo? So paper trail is very important to me because I can manage backlash. So even though they've tagged me, and we know in a digital world, if you're tagged, they want to repost, you still inbox and say a quick thank you, and can I think you should, cover it. I would still ask them. Definitely, especially some of them have private profiles, or maybe you're seeing it because you're their friend. So you just want to be I would just ask anyway and say thanks.
And here's another question for you, because whilst we're talking about selling online and using the online shop, quite often these are shops and e-commerce are used for things that are replicated, you see. So whether it's a t-shirt or a top, it enables you to sell multiples of that particular item. Now, if you're creating custom made products and selling on that, how do you kind of display that on social? So
very easily, very easily. In the caption, you just say so. You say that these items are done to order and the turnaround time is 7 business days, and maybe you'll be required to pay a deposit, but you just let them know they're handmade items. You're an artisan, they're handmade items, just like Etsy. Handmade will be shipped in 7 to 10 business days. So you just create the time you need to create, because they do it on Etsy, and that's a good site for you guys to go over to as well. Go and look on Etsy and how the people communicate underneath their stuff, because a lot of artisans are there, and we know we don't have the money to be sewing up 6 dresses and waiting. Next thing, the dress wasn't a great style, and now we're stuck with it. So we have 1 dress sewn up, we photograph it, we put it out, and then after we get the responses, we just say, well, there's a 7-day turnaround, and that's what it is. You don't have to tell them it takes 7 days to be made. So you can say something as simple as ships in 7 to 10 business days. That's it. You know?
And I guess that's it. It's about managing those expectations so that people understand what they're buying into from the outset. And that's
on my website, I put that shipping though is 2 weeks, but usually it reaches within 7 days. But no, I don't want to put 7 days and something happens, because I think you're happy if the package is early, but you're damn upset if it happens to be late. So I try and manage expectations by putting the 14 days, yet still they'll get it in 7. So I totally agree with what you're saying. The expectation.
We're going to be talking about that, shipping and so forth, in the next webinar on Thursday, isn't it? So we won't go into too much detail about that and Brandon for that. So I've seen that you're on to the next slide, online virtual pop-ups with Ayn Earl. So Ayn, thank you very much.
Hi, good afternoon.
For joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me here.
Fantastic. So I'll let you kick off. Ayn's going to talk to us about online and virtual pop-ups and other ways of obviously drawing in those customers.
Sure, yeah. So again, good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for having me here. So we are speaking a bit about virtual pop-ups. One of the main things that we think about, especially current situation, we are doing most of these things online. So the main thing about a virtual pop-up, of course, is experiential marketing. You are creating, you are creating an experience through this online platform. It can be through your Instagram, it can be through one of the online platforms that are free or that you may have to pay a small fee for, but it really is about the experience that you're going to give to people. It's similar to when you're speaking to them in person. It's just in a screen now, but you're still seeing people, they're commenting, they're liking. So you, again, based on the picture that you're seeing here, you have to present yourself in a certain type of way when you're thinking about this virtual pop-up. It has to be engaging because, again, we don't have the connection of a real life or real time session where I can shake someone's hand or listen to some music and different things. So it really has to be, the presentation just moved. It really has to be engaging. It really is something that you're building a community. Tamia would have spoken about it before in terms of data collection, and we will get into that too, where you're building that community through receiving their emails, receiving numbers, receiving their handles as well too. It's something that you really have to look at to engage your community and really bring them towards what you are doing. So you have to ensure that you're ready to present. And it is something as well too that brings across collaboration. You can do a pop-up on your own, or you can possibly host with other artisans, other designers to bring towards that, to bring together that collaboration, and even sometimes bring in a retailer, because what can possibly happen, as like with Tamia, she has her own boutique. She may see something from another vendor during a pop-up and then decide, you know what, maybe I want to have them in my store, my atelier. So collaboration opportunities are really a possible thing. And of course, one main thing about a virtual pop-up, it's saving you money. You don't have to spend on a venue. You don't have to spend on signage. You don't have to spend on extra decor besides possibly what's at home. And because too, we are from the Caribbean, as you can see behind me, we have flowers in our backyards. We have things that we can use. So it is, of course, something in terms of your saving a bit of money when you're thinking about that. Next slide, please. So when it's for a vendor themselves, when they're trying to really get into a virtual pop-up, this is what we usually do when we speak to them when they're trying to register or even confirm for a space. You have to tell your story. It's really about you presenting yourself to a space, you presenting yourself to the attendees, letting them know who you are. So you're actually giving them the opportunity to find out more about you in this one space. It's not as busy and as noisy as a usual pop-up would be. You have the direct time now to present yourself, present your boutique space. You're given the opportunity. Before, you might have had a 3-foot table, you now have as wide as a screen to really present and make that boutique space. You're in your space. You get to do this at home. But one thing that you have to be very mindful of when you're doing these things is, of course, lighting and sound. If you can get lamps, it's possible. Oops, sorry. You can go back. Lighting and sound is very important as well too, because you are on a screen. You have to ensure possibly that's the only investment you may have to make. Look into getting some proper lighting, or know as well too, when is the best time to do your pop-ups. If it's during the day, the rooms that you're using give you that natural light that you can present a little better, then do that. If the night is not the best, or you don't have that time or the cost attached to getting lights, daytime is better. And try out different parts of your home or your atelier or your office space to see what works for you when it comes to lighting. Similarly to sound, if you can find a space that is soundproof, or that you can close up the doors and that you're able to then not get echoes, it's not close to a window that you're hearing. Yes, we know from webinars and it's real life and real time that we're not hearing the dogs barking, we're not hearing the cars passing and different things. So really you can create that atmosphere. What you can also do, if it's anything too, is possibly add some music, so that may drown out that background noise, but then it adds as well to the experience in terms of adding the music. We'll get into platforms soon, but it's about where you're going to find your market and what is the objective you're trying to do when you're thinking about a pop-up. So if you're really just trying to do something for your Instagram followers, you already have current followers, or you've boosted something, you can do this pop-up literally on Instagram. Have an Instagram live, engage with them at that space. It brings more attendees as well too when you're doing Instagram live. Tammy would have spoken about that, where you actually see, once you're doing the lives, once you're doing your stories, it actually has a greater reach than if it's on your timeline. So think about if Instagram is the best place for you. Think about if it's Facebook that works for you, or if you need to use one of those webinar/meeting platforms based on what you're doing. What is really the objective? Because one of the objectives as well too is possibly a data collection. So then you will need to possibly get email addresses, so someone may have to log in, similar to the platform that we're in now, that you're trying to build your mailing list. And it's not just about the followers, that a GoToMeeting, Zoom, those types of things, those types of platforms would work better than using Instagram, because you're kind of losing people. You're not going to remember all of the persons who would have logged in at TNT Girl add Barbie doll, those types of things. It won't really help you at the end if you're really trying, if your objective is to receive and achieve more email addresses.
So you mean
Delivery
to
method.
have
Sorry?
people registered so that you
Yes,
collect that
it's always, so if one of the objectives
online?
is, yeah, it's better to have persons registered, because the thing as well too, when you look back in terms of selling online, you can now do your newsletter and send to these new people. You have a new product coming out, you're possibly in a new store. It's Mother's Day, as Tammy was saying, or it's Christmas, and you have some type of discount or certificate. You can send to those persons because they actually gave you the opportunity. They took time out to give you their email address, so they are interested in hearing more from you. So the objective sometimes for these pop-ups would be data collection and getting those email addresses. And it's not just about selling things, but it's and not just the engagement as well. Delivery methods, you have to think about that when you are presenting to people. So you're not just presenting your sample pieces, but possibly, again, even if you're presenting samples, let people know, again, the 5 to 10 days they will be able to get their product. How are you delivering it to them? If it's through mail, if it's through DHL, if you personally are going to deliver these products, you also give this information throughout the pop-up that you're hosting. Again, when we come into payment methods now, sometimes if we are doing bespoke, we are doing one of a kind, we sometimes doing one-off pieces, you sometimes will have to share, there's a comment section or you have someone reiterating information where you speak about either your banking information, if you're using PayPal, if that is an opportunity for you. There's also something called P&A, which is similar, it's a rush card. So we can use these, especially if we're doing one-off items where we can actually send invoices to our customers, and you send that link to them or you send an invoice to them immediately and they pay through their credit card. We now have in the region something called WePay. For those who can't accept the credit cards but they or have that platform through PayPal, you can use WePay as well. Or simply just adding your banking information while you're doing your presentation, so persons can either pay immediately or do a down payment, and then you let them know how they can collect. Next slide, please. So the attendees, they need to know how to get on to you. They need to know about this pop-up. So of course, marketing and promotion will be highly encouraged, and you would have seen in terms of boosted posts and ads. So those are the most times how you would get them. You do that outreach as well through, if you have a current email listing, send the persons who would have attended before or who already are on your mailing list. You send it to them. You send out to Instagram followers. You possibly would have had a mailing list, some persons, some of your physical events. Let them know now, because of the time that we're in, we still want you to see our products, but we're making it safer for you. You can stay at home. So that's basically what the virtual pop-up is about. In the safety of your home, you can still see my products, you can still engage with me and possibly buy. Make the sign-in process very easy for them. Literally putting your email address or typing a name, your country, or and possibly a number if you want to get them through WhatsApp as well, and just send an information out to them, send teasers if need be, and let them know possibly the process of how the night is going to run or the day is going to run, in terms of they can purchase immediately, they can order immediately, or they may have to wait and they're just possibly seeing a presentation. Find ways, know as well to what they're signing up for. Availability in terms of what time they're going to be on. Sometimes, again, if they're not there for the entire session, you of course record and share with them after the fact. It's really finding ways to, it's going to give increased exposure. So you have to think about global timing as well. Because when you're doing these virtual pop-ups, you're not doing it just for Trinidad. You're not just doing it for Jamaica. You're not just doing it for Grenada. You're doing it on a global scale. So you think about that availability, and you think about as well to the timing that you're doing this event. And find ways, if they need to purchase that, they can. If they need to share the live, if they need to share with their friends, that's what it's about. And really a virtual pop-up is a way that they, of course, find quick and effective ways to support what you do. They've either heard about you before, they've seen your product or been buying from you. You're just making now another way for them to support you, another way to find out more about local fashion, Caribbean fashion, finding ways to make it as interactive as possible. And they as well, too, once they're impressed, will share with others. Next slide. So you're making it work for you, the rundown of how the event goes. So you are doing it for yourself, or you're possibly doing it with the partners. This is how we would do our virtual events. We actually have one coming up this Sunday. So of course you have to introduce yourself, a simple introduction. You'd speak as to if you are the event manager, who's going to be on board, if you do have partners, and sometimes it's great to have partners because they as well too would help spread the message of what it is you're trying to do. And you have to be very mindful of the partners that you choose. They should be either in the creative industry, the Indian creative industry, in the fashion industry, be able to support fashion, support artisans, makers, and different things like that. Why are you doing this event? It's not just for us to come in and see. Is it just for you to present your idea, present your products? Is it for you to buy immediately? Is it for people to get more followings? Is it to build a community? Tell people why they're there. Talk about the reason for the event, and it could actually be all four of those things. It doesn't really have to be one. And then each person has a certain amount of time now to present what they have to their audience. So they will actually either be sitting or standing with their rack, with their stands, with all their products. Ensure you have prices. And especially if it's not just local, you do have your US rates or possibly pounds, but US can be used because it's universal. Give people that, of course, the conversion as well too. Let them know where they can get, where they spend their money. Sorry, where they're going to pay for this, if it's through the bank, if it's through, as I said, WePay and things like that, what promotions you may have. It's another way to engage people when you're doing these things. Do you have anything special for persons who would have just come on to this event? So do they get 10% off for the entire night because they signed up? Do they get a $5 off? Do they get buy one, get one free? Or do they get something off of their next purchase, which will then encourage them to purchase from you? So find ways as well to give some type of promotion, some type of special for those who actually gave time to sit and watch you present. Have some type of conversation. So it shouldn't just be you, this is a top, this is a dress, this is an earring. Have a conversation. Most times have a host there to help you with it. So you can actually speak to the material being used, the reason behind the collection, the reason for your fabric choices. Speak to these things as well too, because you really want people to understand what it is they're going to buy. They're going to buy into that entire story, your brand story and your identity as well. And of course, tell your thank yous to your sponsors, your vendors, and the persons who would have partnered with you for the event. Next slide. So some of the platforms to be used when you're thinking about doing your virtual pop-ups, of course, we spoke about Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube Live. Those are the free ones, the most interactive. You just click live and people would come on. But again, if you are looking to really receive information from persons, create that email address link and really get more into the data collection. You have Zoom that you can use. We are on GoToWebinar now, as well as GoToMeeting. I don't know how Instagram got there twice, sorry about that. There's Easy Talks, which is another platform, as well as Google Hangouts. And Google Hangouts has been actually going neck and neck with Zoom for a bit in terms of really giving you the same kind of platform, but it's just that Google is easier because once you have a Gmail address or anything that's attached to Google, it's kind of quicker for you to get into that connection. So you really have to think again as to why you're doing the event, so you know which platform to use. Almost all of these platforms that I've listed here are free up to an extent. So you have possibly with GoTo, Zoom, and Easy Talks, you have at least free for an hour, and about 100 persons can actually be viewing. And that's fine, because you think sometimes you don't want a webinar, or sorry, a pop-up, especially if it's just you, to go over an hour. An hour is quite fine in terms of you speaking, presenting, and having a conversation with the persons that are online. If you have, like for us, we do like 8 to 10 vendors, and we go on to about 2 hours, possibly 2.5 because of the giveaways and the interactions. But look at your timing as well, and think of your person's attention span. And most of these platforms as well, think about if they have the option to record. So you can, if it's on Zoom, you can then add it to YouTube after. You can then add it to Instagram or add it to Facebook. So more persons can see what's happening, and then they can possibly go on to the vendors and different things to actually still purchase from them. So just to reiterate again, when you're thinking about that virtual pop-up, it really is a money saver. You're not thinking about looking for a physical space. And in these times as well, it is safer to do. Click onto any one of these platforms and they will help you along the way. It may bring in more attendees to you because it's now open to a wider space. It's not just your following anymore. You may need to add some money to do some ads to boost so you get more persons. One of the main reasons that we do it is for data capturing. It is to increase your sales. It is to promote that you're still around during this time and you do have a new collection or possibly some products that you may try to get off of your hand. It is for increased exposure, which is really good, global exposure. It's an experiential space that you're in, and this can be quick and effective in terms of really 10-15 minutes. You can possibly make 10 sales, that type of thing, and it's really for easy interaction. So I think that's about it when you're thinking about the virtual pop-up space and what you really need to do. And of course, some of the ideas and the information that Tammy would have given would help as well too, because you can check your insights after, you can check why people are looking at you, you can look at your boosted posts, have an influencer possibly promote the event as well too, and be a part of it, be a host as well too. So that's about it, I think, when we come to the virtual pop-up. I don't know if there's another side, I can't remember. Just let me know, and if there are any questions, of course, I'm here to answer.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I mean, obviously people were asking about which platforms to use, but I think that's really does, you kind of really outlined what, you know, what people need to be thinking about first. Why are you actually doing this, and using the platform that's going to work best for you?
Yeah. And it's also where if you're just trying to interact with your current customer, then you have Instagram, Facebook. If you're trying to build, sometimes it's better to pay a little more and use Zoom or use YouTube Live, somewhere where people have to register and you do some type of data caption, so that you also, even if you don't make the sale now, you can later on, because you do have that information to contact these persons after.
And I guess maybe then it's also important then to promote that you're going to be doing the pop-up, you know?
Yes,
and
that's one. So as I said, you have to promote it. You get your partners on board to promote as well too. The vendors themselves also need to promote to let people know where they will be. So I will be at this virtual pop-up on this day. Don't forget to sign up. And even when they're just sharing their products or you're sharing something, if you see a dress that you like this dress, well, you can find us at to see more details on the top, or to see us in close up at this virtual pop-up. Yeah, so some promotion for sure will be needed. You need to, and then it's also a part of sensitization as well too, because this is a new thing for persons. We have always been able to be interacting with each other in a physical space. So doing it now virtually, you will need a little extra push. So promotion is necessary.
Right. And so then when you're looking at, and I think maybe Tamia touched on this a little bit earlier, as it relates to the social media platforms, which ones give you the best sort of visibility? I mean, I guess it really depends on who your audience already is.
It's who your audience is, but I think sometimes for Facebook, while you're on, so you can do Zoom and transfer and do a Facebook Live as well. That can also happen. So you can actually be on two platforms at once.
Right, I've
so
seen
usually
that.
Sometimes you may not get the interaction immediately, especially with Facebook. Instagram and YouTube Live, sometimes you get more interaction, but because it's something that stays on your platform and because it's video and it is interactive, you actually see more views after the fact. You may not get, again, that's based on the timing as well too, when you actually do the event. So you have to know as well too when your customers will be available. But if not, most times, because I've been on webinars and different events where we may have gotten possibly 200 people online, but then give it 24 to 48 hours, you can get up to 2,000 people actually viewing. So once you have the availability and the ability to actually share after or leave it up for a bit, you do get more engagement after the fact. But I think Instagram would be the highest, and then based on your platform and if your customer knows you to be on YouTube Live, but that's based on the type of product and the brand as well too.
So physically, I mean, I say physically or concretely, as we had a couple of questions from Daphne. Hi, Daphne from Haiti.
Daphne.
So she was asking, so how does the virtual pop-up actually happen? Do you use pictures of the product? Do you use the real product? How do you kind of show them? How do you show people the actual product that's for sale? You know.
So actually, it can be a mix. I would advise, once you have good lighting, that you do show the physical product, and then sometimes as well you can do a mix. Because so like if I'm showing lipstick, so I'm showing the lipstick, I can come up close and you can see, and then with something like this, you can also do a swatch, and then persons can see as well how it would look on your hand. Similarly, if I'm selling a phone, again, I can come in and I can see, but again, based on the lighting, you see that's what it is. but you have to understand the lighting. So we do test sessions as well beforehand. It's something to do as well. Ensure that you do a test before getting online, and you can show the product. People can see it, and then you can show if it's based on size, how large it is in your hand, or the airing. You come up a little closer so you can see the things. So it is sometimes better to show video, show live, because again, if I'm portraying this, you can see how it looks on my ear, you see how big it is next to my hand, how large it is to my face, because a picture might just show something that may look 2 inches, but when you buy it, it's actually 5 and it's half of your face. So it's good to sometimes have a mix. If you are unable to photograph things or have the physical product, you do a video, you do like a small story on it, but it is better to have those live products so people can actually get the details, especially for Daphne. I know her product, and those will look good in the lighting in terms of the bone and the shades of the brown and the cream. People can actually see her details, especially when it comes to jewelry. You need to see the details. When it comes to the makeup, we can see the pigmentation, that type of thing. Even for the clothing, you just come close up, you can see the stitching, we can see length, that type of thing.
Okay, so one of the other questions that's just come in from Jamie Curry from the Bahamas. Hi there, Jamie. In your opinion, what's the best way, and I'll pose this question to both of you, what's the best way to build your audience in the Caribbean? I think they should have been on one of the early, was it last Thursday's webinar where we talked about building your community online. I think obviously, you know, there's organic posts which you just put out there, and obviously as we were talking about today about advertising, how you can kind of grow that audience. But if we can just kind of sum up, you know, just quickly, what is the best way to build that audience online?
Well, when I was starting out, I found that on Facebook, even now, Facebook gets me more sales than Instagram. So I did a lot more content in the beginning to Facebook because my ideal customer is somebody 25, 27 and up. So first he has to find out what's the age of the customer that he's going after. Then he has to make sure to understand the customer's lifestyle. So I know that my customers, I learned in the first 2 years, they won't buy the tight clothes. Anything fitted, it won't sell in here. So you also have to know, okay, so what are the things for your customer that make them interested in you? So my customers like loose clothes. It could be because of their size is 8 to 3XL. So then I said, well, if they take the loose clothes and they're so body conscious, maybe they want a girdle. So I started to make the girdle and get the girdle. I started to buy swimsuit with tummy control. So understand the lifestyle of who you're selling to so you can upsell them, but understand who you're communicating with and that you communicate effectively. So if you're communicating with somebody 18 to 25, then you need to be over on Instagram, right? So who is it Generation X? Who is your target? And then communicate effectively and then cross market different things you have. So yes, you sell sunglasses, but you can't keep posting the sunglasses every day. So maybe you want to post the sunglasses styled with the clothes. So now people can better see that, just like what Ms. Earl was saying earlier, so they can see the size. Maybe you have on the glasses and a shirt, and to find different ways to communicate. Then at the end of the 7 days, maybe you put up 4 posts. You say which one was communicated with the most. And then from that post, you work backwards. You know, you say, okay, well, this is what they like to see, or this is what they're most fond of. So now my content is going to be closer to that. So you can like decide on 3 little strategies of how you're going to get it across. And then from that, now you work backwards, because it's not a science. Because what happens if you're advertising in the Bahamas and you sell sunglasses, but then everybody's selling the sunglasses, but then you set an ad to Antigua and then you get all these hits and all these sales, you know? So you want to look on where your target is and who's your competition to.
Yeah, okay. I would say the same. It's something as well too. It's not black and white. It has a bit of trial and error in it, but you have to understand first, as Tammy is saying, who is your customer, who is your ideal client, and really understand who you're creating for before you even start presenting anything to them. And then from that, you do some tests as to what works, what doesn't work when you're looking at your imaging. Some people as well too, yes, we like the style and the model pictures, but then they're great with seeing the customer or seeing a model that looks like them. You know, so it's not everyone that was looking for that the perfect picture or the perfect person wearing the thing, because in their mind it's like, I could never look like that, so I know it won't look like that on me. So it's also understanding, as I said, who's your customer, where do they shop, where do they go out, where would they wear your product or want to use your product. It's something I like. So it's a lot of trial and error, but really figuring it out and using what we have as well too as our aesthetic. But if you're not into the full floral and beach and sea and different things, simple black and white can work, and then your products can speak for themselves. And similarly to, you can do something by itself. So we could have the earrings on a flatly, but then also having it for people to see how it works, similar to what Samia was saying. But it's not black and white at all, but you really have to know who you're presenting to first before even starting to build on that community.
Okay, great. That was the end of your slides, right? From both
I believe so.
Yeah. And
yes.
I think we've had as I say, we've been answering the questions as they've been coming on through. Just to let everybody know, yes, the presentation or the recording.
Yeah, because someone actually just asked as well too.
Will be shared after this webinar has finished. It will be sent to you directly from the platform, and it's also will be available on our YouTube channel and on our website, carib-export.com videos. I'm just going to quickly share my screen. Are you seeing it?
Yes.
You guys seeing my screen?
Yes.
Okay. So obviously we've had, how many webinars have we had now? We've had 3 so far. So we started off with branding, photography 101. So we were able to kind of really look at the importance of photography and having great photography of your clothing for your online space for you to be able to promote. We also looked in the second one about building your community, how to engage with them, the types of posts you could be using, and how to utilize those imagery, the imagery that you're capturing on your social media pages. And today we obviously looked at the social selling and how to sell online, and ensuring that you've got all of the information about your company, ensuring that people can reach you, setting up the online shops and so forth. And so the final stage that we're looking at, that we'll be looking at on Friday, oh sorry, not Friday, Thursday. Sorry, let me just get on to the next slide. Oops, gone too far. Is about how to be export ready. Now, obviously, we're going to be looking at, once again, looking at the target audience, but also how to package your product safely, because you're going to be sending it out to various people that are looking to purchase it, and so on. So I think it's a really great way of rounding up the series to taking it to that final step to that consumer, because again, that's another way of helping you build your audience and really maintaining that relationship with them, so that once they receive your products, they're willing to kind of continue talking about it and saying how fantastic it was, the experience, the entire experience of actually purchasing from your stores. Yes, so I'm just looking at some of the questions here. So we had a question from Susan Maines, and she's looking for some answers about exporting for the Caribbean. So we're going to have our wits about us for next week, because we know there are a number of challenges. So hopefully we can cover off some of those on Thursday and help everybody. Thanks everybody. Kizzy, Nadia, I'm glad you were able to find it informative and motivating. Yeah, everybody that's been able to comment, much appreciated. If you do have any questions, feel free to shoot me an email. Thank you once again, Tamia and Ayn, for your input, and obviously sharing all of your trade secrets, actually, because I appreciate that, Tamia, you're a designer yourself, but it's great to be able to for you to share obviously how you do it with everybody. And yeah, I only wish we could have 74,000 followers on our Facebook as well for Caribbean Export, but great. But thank you once again, everybody, and I'll let you all go, and we'll see you on Thursday. So do register on our website, carib-export.com. And Tamiria's got one more thing to say.
If anyone wants to reach out to me, my all of my name is everything. So you can look on Instagram, Facebook, and you can reach out to me if anything. I wanted to
Yeah,
ask
similarly as
earlier,
well, just the name. Sorry, go ahead.
do you offer your services throughout the islands, or is it just for your country?
Yes, no, across the islands, yeah.
Right.
I
And
could
yeah,
collab
so
with somebody in Trinidad. I could collab with a Trini or.
yeah, you can.
So
You can just
I
always
must,
reach out to me. So yeah, the Fashion Arch or the Fashion Arch TT. You can find me on Instagram, Facebook. Yeah.
okay. And you've got a pop-up shop that you're going to be hosting this weekend, right?
Yes, that's on Sunday at 6 p.m.
Oh, she invites us.
Yes, I will send the link. Don't worry at all.
I would love to sit there before
Yeah,
I travel.
sure.
I'd love to see and walk through.
Yes.
Yeah, so what I will do is I'll add the link to register for your pop-up in the
Yes, please.
follow-up
So you don't
email.
have, you have that correct, or do you need me to send that to you?
Send it to me again because I think I may have
No
registered
problem.
myself, but I may not have kept the
Yes,
link.
I will send. So yeah, I'll send the registration link, and the Zoom link will be shared by Friday.
And
Okay,
Joe,
bro.
remember to send the link for the designers to be able to sign up on the Carib Export Shopping, what did you call it again? Where the designers get virtual
Fashion
space.
showroom.
Caribbean Fashion Show.
showroom. Yeah.
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 So I'll send that out in the follow-up email from this, and then you'll be able to obviously respond accordingly, everybody. So once again, thank you very much for that. Ava Campbell, I've just seen your message. That's fine. I'll shoot you an email or shoot me an email directly, and we can follow up from there. Great. Have a great afternoon, everybody.